Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Hopefully y'all doing well. I've been had this, I don't even know what to call it, but I've been had this waiting around to post, okay? I have the body cam, the audio, the father's interview, and also the attorney's interview, okay? All in this video. Rest in peace, Sonya Massey. I mean, I don't know. I don't really have any words. This is horrible. Let's watch this.
The former deputy accused of killing a Springfield woman has pleaded not guilty to murder charges. Thank you for joining us. I'm Eliza Petrie. Sean Grayson appeared before a judge for the first time since being arrested yesterday. He was also ordered to stay in custody in a local county jail. We have been following this story for you from the beginning. This evening, we are bringing you team coverage as we continue to learn more about what led to the death of Sonya Massey. We start with Fox Illinois' Julia Rosier, who was in the courtroom this afternoon. Julia?
Well, it's about time a corrupt officer is not having his way.
Eliza, that's right. Sean Grayson made his first appearance in the courtroom today in person. Cameras were not allowed inside the courtroom, but the courtroom was crowded with Sonya Massey's family and friends. Today's hearing was to decide whether or not Grayson will stay behind bars while awaiting his trial.
Why not? Excuse me. Why not? Young Thug been in jail for 2 years while awaiting and fighting his. And he didn't do what he did.
The prosecution argued that Grayson is a risk to the community and no combination of conditions would limit that threat. But the defense had 3 separate arguments: ties to the community, as he worked for several different law enforcement agencies throughout central Illinois.
Okay, y'all, wait. That's another thing. Why did he work for all these different departments and agencies? I feel because he had a freaking horrible conduct. That's what I think. They killed me hiring these cops that been fired from other agencies or let go, and they go over there like something gonna change.
He's not a flight risk because he hasn't tried to run since the incident, and his medical history. He was diagnosed with colon cancer and has an ostomy bag. Family and friends of Sonya Massey were in the courtroom today. They even at times got very emotional. When the judge announced his decision that Grayson would stay behind bars, people began to cheer, and the judge quickly told them to be quiet. Reporting live in Springfield, I'm Julia Rosier. Back to you.
Thank you, Julia. Grayson will be back in court on August 26th, and the body camera video from that night of the shooting will be publicly released on Monday. Be sure to stay with Fox Illinois on air and online for the latest on this story. And attorney for Sonya Massey's family releasing a statement applauding the judge for keeping Grayson in custody. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump saying in part, quote, "Today's decision by the judge to hold Deputy Sean Grayson in custody without bail marks another crucial step in the pursuit of justice for Sonya Massey's family, emphasizing the gravity of the charges and the severity of the officer's actions," end quote. And since her death, Sonya Massey's family has seen support from both the community and Illinois officials. Governor J.B. Pritzker called the shooting a tragedy during a press conference today.
I feel for not just the families, the family of the victim, but also the families of Sangamon County, and then all people of color who have had to endure these kinds of circumstances and to witness them, because it affects everyone, even if it's never happened to you specifically.
In the hours since former Deputy Sean Grayson was indicted on multiple charges, including murder, we have learned more about what led up to the shots being fired in Sonya Massey's home. We continue our team coverage with Fox Illinois' Carson Gordy with what he has found out today. Carson?
The document details the events caught in the morning of July 6 at Sonya Massey's home. Grayson and another deputy arrived at Massey's home after she called 911 about a prowler. During the incident, Grayson allowed Massey to remove a pot of hot water off the stove. Then Grayson pulled out his service weapon and aimed at Massey. Massey put her hands in the air, said "I'm sorry," and ducked behind a counter. Grayson then got closer to her, continued to yell to put the pot down, and fired 3 shots at her, striking her in the face once. The report added that Grayson's body camera was not activated during the incident. He turned it on after the shooting. The footage was gathered from the other Sangamon County deputy who responded to the call. I'm Carson Gordy. Back to you.
Thank you, Carson. It was also noted in the charging documents Grayson made no attempt to help Massey after he shot her. The other deputy, whose name has not been released, did render aid to her. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Eliza Petrie. We are continuing our coverage into the investigation following the death of Sonya Massey. The former deputy being charged in her death has pleaded not guilty. Sean Grayson entering his plea in court today. He's facing 3 counts of first-degree murder, aggravated battery with a firearm, and official misconduct. And Sean Grayson will be held in jail until his trial after Sangamon County prosecutors argued he's at risk to the community. Fox Illinois' Carson Gordy joins us now with an update. Carson.
In a standing room only courtroom, prosecutors argued why former Sangamon County Deputy Sean Grayson was unjustified in shooting and killing Sonya Massey. Tonight we have obtained 911 calls from the night Massey was shot and killed.
Unit Star 2868 Hoover, 2868 Hoover. Units on scene are 1078, shots fired.
Earlier that morning, Sean Grayson and an unnamed Sangamon County deputy responded to a 911 call from Sonya Massey, who called the police after concerns of a prowler. The deputies entered the home. The charging documents say Grayson made a comment about a pot on the stove. Massey set the pot of water down on the counter.
Okay, I'm sorry. I had to stop it real quick. Y'all pause and read the doc, okay? He had a taser on his vest, although there was no threat, so he shouldn't have used neither.
Documents say that despite distance and relative cover, Grayson pulled his handgun and threatened to shoot Massey in the face. She then put her hands in the air and said "I'm sorry" while ducking for cover behind a counter. Grayson got closer and continued to yell at Massey to put the pot down. He then fired 3 shots, striking her once in the face.
2868 Hoover Street, county's out requesting EMS. There's shots fired, stating that a female shot in the head.
In court Thursday, a judge denied Grayson pretrial release after arguments that he's a danger to the community. Some people in the room erupted in applause. An Illinois State Police investigation says Grayson was not justified to use deadly force. Sangamon County prosecutors say Grayson instructed the other deputy to not provide medical aid to Massey. Grayson's lawyer argued that he is not a flight risk and that complications from colon cancer puts his safety at risk while in jail. He faces 5 criminal counts, including 3 counts of first-degree murder. He faces life in prison if convicted. The body camera footage is expected to be released during Monday morning. Grayson's body camera was not on during the shooting. It was turned on after. Footage was caught on the other deputy's camera. I'm Carson Gordy. Back to you.
Thank you, Carson. Grayson is expected to be back in court on August 26th. And audio from the Sangamon County Dispatch states a contradiction from Sonya Massey's official cause of death. A criminal investigation states Massey was shot in the face by Sean Grayson. Here is audio after the shooting.
Just confirm self-inflicted. 2 on off.
Copy County's update. I didn't. Self-inflicted. Okay, thank you.
We asked Sangamon County if they knew who contacted dispatch and told them the gunshots were self-inflicted. An official tells Fox, Illinois, he was not aware of the audio or who would have made that claim. And we're also learning new details about Sonya Massey. She was born in 1988 in San Diego, California. She attended church at 2nd Timothy Baptist Church. According to her obituary, she was a devoted mother. She loved to do hair and spend time with her family. She retired at J&J Gaming. And Governor Pritzker also responding to Sonya Massey's death.
First of all, this is a devastating occurrence and tragedy. And I mean this when I became aware of it and the circumstances of it. We've seen too much of this, where an innocent person, unarmed, who actually called for assistance, was the target and the victim of a shooting by a police officer.
Pritzker goes on to say this incident does not reflect on all police officers. And the city of Springfield is issuing a notice to the community due to the findings of the investigation into Sonya Massey's death. City officials say they want to ensure the Massey family, their supporters, and the community can safely express their pain and responses. They add there will be an increased police presence. And we now have new details about Grayson's work history. Since beginning his law enforcement career in 2020, he has worked at 6 different departments. He started out with Pawnee Police, then moved to Kincaid, followed by Verdon and Auburn Police Departments. He started working at Logan County Sheriff's Department in May of 2022. He was hired by Sangamon County 1 year later. And Illinois Senator Dick Durbin releasing a statement on Sonya Massey's death, saying in part, quote, "Our law enforcement officers are called on to protect and serve their communities with honor and courage. But any who fail to follow the high standards they have sworn to uphold must be held accountable." The Illinois State Police conducted a thorough investigation of Sonya's tragic death, and the Sangamon County State's Attorney brought the necessary changes in a timely way, end quote.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. A warning to our listeners and viewers, we're about to discuss graphic details of police violence. The family of Sonya Massey is demanding justice after the unarmed 36-year-old black woman was shot dead in her own home in Illinois when she called 911 for help. Police initially claimed she died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, but police body cam footage has just been released and has proved that all to be a lie. Former Sangamon County Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson, who's white, has been fired and charged with first-degree murder for fatally shooting Sonya Massey. Grayson did not activate his body cam until after he killed her. But the other officer's body camera was activated when they arrived at her house. It shows the 2 men speaking with Sonya before one notes her stove is on and says, "We don't need a fire while we're here." When Massey goes to turn off the stove, where a pot of water is boiling, a deputy tells her to step away from your hot steaming water. Massey can be heard saying, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus," and Grayson takes his gun out and responds, quote, "You better effing not, or I swear to God I'll effing shoot you in the effing face." As Sonya Massey appears to duck and twice says, "I'm sorry," the video shows Grayson moving toward her and fire 3 shots, ultimately shooting her in the face. This is a clip of the exchange leading up to the shooting.
What is your last name? Shouldn't have to think about your last name. Okay. You're not in trouble. I just need to text.
Massey.
Huh?
Massey.
What? You have an ID? That makes things so much easier. I just need just a driver's license will do, and then I'll get out of your hair.
I want to show y'all my paperwork.
I will get your paperwork.
What paperwork?
Okay. I got some paperwork.
Well, just get your ID.
Well, let's get your ID first, and then
one task at a time here.
Okay. Let me
here, grab your ID for me.
Okay.
Your ID. One task at a time. So let's do an ID, and then you can dig around for your paperwork.
I don't know where my ID is.
You have that stack right there, maybe.
Okay. 1 second.
Just check on her.
Let me get this.
No, we don't need a fire while we're here.
Right. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Where you going?
Huh?
Where you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from my hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I would rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
I
rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
No, I swear to God, I'll shoot you right in your face.
So after that, Sean Grayson shoots Sonya Massey. Body cam footage later records him telling his partner not to render aid to her. Records show Grayson has worked 6 different law enforcement agencies in Illinois since 2020. All of this comes as Massey's family says police first tried to cover up her killing. The Guardian newspaper obtained audio of a call from the scene in which a deputy told a dispatcher Massey's wound was self-inflicted. The family said it was also given misleading information given by police that she was shot by a neighbor. This is Massey's father, James Wilburn, at a news conference.
I was under the impression that a prowler had broke in and killed my baby. Never did they say there was a deputy-involved shooting until my brother read it on the internet. He shared with me, he said, "Brother, what was Sonya's address?" I told him, and he said to me, "This says this is a deputy-involved shooting." I said, "Deputy-involved shooting? What are you talking about?"
Sonya Massey was the mother of 2, a 15-year-old daughter and a 17-year-old son. Her killing by police has prompted protests, and both President Biden and Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris issued statements saying Massey's family deserves justice. Vice President Harris said, quote, "Sonya Massey deserved to be safe. Doug and I send strength and prayers to Sonya's family and friends. We join them in grieving her senseless death," unquote. Harris also called for Congress to pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. For more, we're joined by Ben Crump, civil rights attorney representing the family of Sonya Massey. Can you explain exactly what took place? You've been out there, Ben. You're representing the family at this point. And talk about the cover-up as well.
Well, obviously, it's a tragic beyond proportions, Amy. This is the worst police shooting video that I've seen. I mean, it is so senseless. And the video is disturbing, but the audio is equally disturbing. When you look at that video and you see him move around the counter, even though he's trying to allege the reason he shot her was because he feared that she was going to throw hot water in his face from the pot, the very pot that he sent her to get. And then he moves around the counter, I think from an objective observation, looks like to get a better shot. And then he has no remorse whatsoever. When his partner says, "I'm going to go get my CPR kit," he says, "Nah, it's a headshot. Don't worry about that. It's not going to make a difference. She's gone." And then at one point in the video, he says, "Just let her effing," and he doesn't finish his statement, but a logical comparison can conclude he's saying, "Just let her die." And so it's troubling on every level. She needed a helping hand, Amy. She did not need a bullet to the face.
And Ben Trump, equally disturbing is the fact that the authorities at first even withheld the actual information of what happened here. Could you talk about that and how you were able to uncover what really occurred?
Well, the family said when they initially got to her home, they kept asking what happened, who did this, and they asked questions saying, well, did she have a history with the neighbor? We're trying to find out. You know, is what the family say they told them. It's under investigation. Never told them that it was a police-involved shooting. In fact, one of the relatives said that a nurse at the hospital was saying, they said this was self-inflicted. We saw some radio scanner back and forth where they talked about whether it was self-inflicted or not. So we don't know what the narrative was initially, but we've asked for a thorough investigation of that as well. What led up to the killing itself, and then the aftermath of the killing with the sheriff's department, because we don't believe Deputy Grayson should have never been hired in the first place. He was convicted of 2 DUIs. We understand that he was discharged from the Army, and he had 6 jobs in 4-year span, different law enforcement agencies. We have reason to believe that he may have been terminated from some of those law enforcement agency jobs. And so the question is, why did he even have a job as a sheriff's deputy? The judge said at the bond hearing, after watching the video that was released yesterday, that he believed Officer Grayson was a threat to public safety.
Y'all listen, I believe he was looking for someone to unalive that day. She said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, because she knew she was looking the D-E-V-I-L in the eye. She knew it. And he set her up. Yes, I believe he set her up for the bullshit. Yeah, he done told her to go get that pot off the stove so he can use that as a freaking weapon. You standing all that distance away, and you worried about her sitting down a pot, because that's what she did, sat it on the counter. He's full of shit. He unalived her. Straight out, point blank, and then lied. Listen in them audios, it sounds like him or that partner. I'm not sure about the partner. I ain't gonna put it on him because he had his body cam on. He been cooperating and everything. And he did render aid, even though that clown told him not to. He didn't have his body cam on for a reason, y'all. Before he went there, he knew his intentions. It was somebody that day. It was somebody, and she was that body. He is a threat to public safety. Who else won't he do like that? And he think he should be able to get out because he has cancer and a ostomy bag. You took her away completely for no apparent reason. Y'all get in the comments and see if y'all believe what I said earlier, what I think it was. Let's talk about this. This is so sad. And pray for her family. You guys have a great day. Don't allow anyone to steal your joy.